There are a lot of reasons to retire early. Maybe you want to go travel. Maybe there's a hobby that you've been putting off for a long time that you can't wait to do. Or maybe you're just done with work and you're like, all right, I want to move in this new stage of my life. What I'm going to show you today is 30 plus reasons. I don't know if you needed more than that, but 30 plus reasons why you should retire early. Some of these responses are going to surprise you. I promise you that. Others, you're going to go, no, I kind of already knew that, but the way that they explain it, that resonates with me. So where on earth am I getting these responses from? Well, I have an ebook. In that ebook, you will be able to see below, which is the complete guide to an early retirement. I created that to have almost a guide. So when you're looking through, hey, what are the main considerations before you retire early? Here's what to think through. So I created that guide. Now, before I let you download it, and it is free, I ask people, I say, what's something you never want to do ever again? And now you don't need to because you're retired. And what I'm going to show you right now are those responses. So I'm going to start working through that in just a moment. But once again, my name is Taublieb. I am a financial advisor. I help people retire early. I'm the vice president of Root Financial Partners and the host of the Early Retirement Podcast. So I encourage you to subscribe to this channel if you are looking for more tips on investing, tax strategy, and overall retirement strategies. So I'm going to go along with you, meaning I'm going to put these responses up on the screen. Now I'm going to make sure those emails are blocked off. So for any of you that did download this ebook, I promise I take security very seriously here, so you are not going to see those, but I'm going to say the name as well as the response. And once again, here's the question I asked. What is something that you are excited to never do ever again in retirement? Something that you're never going to have to do? That's kind of question one. Question two that I switched up about, halfway once I realized a lot of people were downloading this. I wanted to ask something else, which is what's something you're most excited about in retirement? So most excited about and excited to never do again. For a lot of people, it's the same, but I just wanted to make that quick tweak here. I promise I'm going to be looking down here at my other screen, not because I'm not looking at you guys, but it's because I'm going to be following along with you. But we'll have these responses on the screen. So let's start going through them. And the reason, by the way, I do all of this is because when you're thinking through an early retirement, when you're doing savings to 401ks or Roth IRAs or brokerage accounts and looking at tax strategy, I want to even create more inspiration and more motivation to go retire. That's kind of number one, is I want it to be even easier as you're doing those things. Number two is I want you to be able to go, wow, that's something I didn't even consider that, yeah, I kind of thought of subliminally, but the reality is that's something I'm excited to do as well, which creates even more inspiration and ease as you're going through this. Because what I hear all the time, and I don't want you to have to do, is to go, oh my gosh, I'm counting down the days until I retire. I'm absolutely miserable. My health is being impacted. I'm not able to spend time with family and friends. When can I get to this early retirement date? That's a lot of people. Other people, it's less of that exact date, but more of show me financially when I no longer need to. And for those people, they want to be excited about what they're doing. And how do you get excited for that investing and for that saving? You're really intentional. So let's start working through these. Number one, you can see here, comes from Tasha. And Tasha says she's excited to no longer plan her life around someone else's schedule. I love that. I can't tell you how many people are going to work and it just feels like they're almost not working. It's like, hey, they're there, but almost playing a role where it's not really them in control of their own life, which sounds really, really weird, but I hear this all the time. So that's from Tasha. Walker says commuting. That's a huge one. People waking up early to go to work, and you're going to see how this relates to a few other ones. So Walker, I like that. Lila, hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, or Lila, I'll go with Lila here. I'm very much looking forward to waking up and having my husband still next to me every single morning. These are one of those things that maybe you wouldn't put that on a response, but Lila, I absolutely love that, because there are people that are going to work right now, just like you, Lila, who are going, oh my gosh, I cannot wait for that day to come where you're going to be able to wake up every single morning. And if there's anything I can do to make that easier, I want to do that. On the financial side, of course, investing better and paying less taxes and stuff like that I nerd out over as an advisor. But on top of that, I also want to go, okay, what can I show you? What ideas can inspire this? So really like that response. Maria, not waking up at 5 a.m. and driving in the morning to commute traffic. We went over that. I imagine no one loves traffic, even though I will say, this is going to be really weird, a lot of people find me, not too weird is the reality, but a lot of people find me through the podcast, and traffic is probably one of the main reasons people find me. So in a weird way, I don't want you commuting. I'd rather you get to listen to my podcast on a walk or, going on a jog or something like that. But the reality is a lot of people are listening to this podcast because of traffic. I promise I didn't plant that traffic there so you'd listen to the podcast, but glad you're here. And by the way, comment below, let me know where you first either found my YouTube channel or the podcast, because it helps more people retire early, which of course is the reason I do all of this. Just kind of going along here. Marcus, I like this one. Marcus says, redundant, meaningless activities at work. He goes, unnecessary compliance junk to check a box, though some has merit, admittedly. I think we've all been through this, where there's some training programs or things you have to go through and you're like, okay, do I really need to do this? Yes, there's some merit to it, but to your point, Marcus, okay, that can be excessive, especially as regulations and things change. Most people that come to me have been working for 20, 30, 40 plus years, and the industry has changed, and now they want to make a shift. So I really like this, Marcus. Carl, rush out the door before the sun comes up. So he wants to be able to sleep in, I imagine he's alluding to here. Shane, travel and fulfill your bucket list. One thing I want to say here, Shane, a lot of people don't do any of this until they retire, and they do all of that, and then a health event could occur or something else. I don't say that to get dark, but I'd rather you implement some of these travel and things today before you retire. So it's like, wow, I'm even more excited. Or on the flip side, and I've seen this happen a handful of times, I'm just thinking maybe 3 to 5 times, where someone is like, all right, I cannot wait to travel. That's what I want to do. Then they start traveling and they're like, wow, I don't want to do this much. And then they're like, what on earth am I going to fulfill my time with? So just something to consider. Michael, now please, this is probably my favorite one. Now pleased with extra time, plenty of time to worry about running out of money. So now that people go, oh my gosh, I'm retired, I did it. Now you're thinking, oh my gosh, I've got a lot more time on my hands. I used to be working and just saving. Now I'm not adding new dollars, so that's going to stress you out. Number 2, you're going, okay, what on earth am I going to think about? I mean, I've got nothing other than travel and grandchildren and family, and that keeps you busy, but to a point where you're going to go, okay, how do I make sure I really get the most out of this? So Michael, that is a huge one. I'm glad you put that here. Corey says freedom. I like that. Christopher, dog walking and preserving foods. Okay, so everyone has a little bit different interest there. I hadn't heard that one before. Utpal says feeling unhurried and rushed. I like this one. Unhurried. A lot of people feel like they're kind of just always going, checking their email. And what if we could take a breath? What if you could really slow down? Maybe for the first time. And I know people are always saying, yes, you can meditate and do things like this, which yes, that does help. But sometimes when work is just stressful and you're doing things that you don't necessarily love doing, the idea that you can no longer have to do them one day is really attractive. And that idea of feeling unhurried is something I personally hear all the time. This comes from T. T says freedom, travel, new hobbies. John, time, freedom, spontaneity. I like that. Not that you have a trip planned, but the fact that you could take one and not have to go, hey boss, can I have 2-3 weeks off? Maybe 2-3 days off, depending on your trip desires. Let me know, by the way, also, I love hearing from you guys. If you can't tell, I do all of this because I want you to truly have the best retirement possible. You've worked really, really hard for many years and you deserve to enjoy it now. And so in early retirement, to me, is just something I really want you to get the most out of. So let me know, what does ideal travel look like to you? Some people we're getting in an RV and we're just traveling domestically. Other people it's international. Others are going, hey, we're doing mission trips. So I always love just selfishly hearing what you like to do. So if you don't mind, please shoot that in the comments. Scott, freedom to pick up old hobbies again. I like that one a lot too. So many people are like, oh my gosh, I was woodworking, or I had someone tell me that they were windsurfing, and someone else who was bungee jumping, like things that kind of made them feel like a kid again, if you will. And they just stopped doing it entirely because life gets busy and family and kids and stuff happens. And that's always going to occur to a point. But how can you start incorporating these things before you retire? Because a lot of people wait, once again, until they retire and spend time, like Scott here. And I know you want the freedom and time. And maybe me saying this, you're going, Ari, I can't do that even if I wanted to. It's just not there. I'm going, great. Okay, then I want you to be excited about it. But some people have the ability to start doing these things. And what I don't want to have happen, and I've seen this time and time again, where people retire, they're like, Ari, here's what I'm planning on doing. Then they retire and they don't end up loving that as much as they thought, which if that happens, it's okay. But then they're like, oh, I kind of put all my eggs in one basket here. So these hobbies, I want you to do them. I want you to be excited for them. You should be, but just maybe start even introducing them a little bit before you retire, if possible. Next one here, Mike, financial freedom, buying back my time. Love that. Joanne, not working. That's fine enough a response. Some people are like, all right, I don't even know what on earth I want to be doing, but it ain't this. And to those people, I'm like, great, don't do it anymore. But at least tell yourself, okay, when are you truly financially flexible? When you no longer need to keep working. That's it. That's a number, yes, but not really. It's more of a calculation because people are like, do I need $2 million or $3 or $5 million? It's none of that. What you need is a plan that shows you have the income you need. I have clients that have $0 in their portfolio, retired really, really comfortably. You're like, how on earth could they do that? Well, they have healthy pensions and inheritance and rental income. I have other clients who they don't have any of those things. They've worked really hard. They have a healthy portfolio. They're going to be supplementing with Social Security, but that's kind of it. In the sense of, there's $2 million plus on average, people reaching out and they're just saying, hey, how can I make sure I never run out of money and get the most out of this? And to those people, they're like, hey, I've done a really good job saving and investing. I don't know exactly what I want to do. Maybe it is part-time income. There's a lot of that identity of you tied into work, but part of my job is showing you, and by the way, the team that I work on here, we have a retirement life coach on staff. So for people who are like, hey, I don't even know how to start even thinking through this, that's just a value add that we're starting to offer to clients as well. So I want you to know a lot of people feel they have to have it all figured out. You don't. In fact, even if you think you do, it's going to play some twists on you. Let's move on here. Chad, I'm most excited to have freedom of time. We had kids early, started at 19, as our last child finishes high school next year. We want to do some slow travel and enjoy life before the health effects of life creep in. This, Chad, love this, is known as the retirement smile. So this is the idea that you could be spending more time on travel and being able to go do things that you're really excited about while you have your energy and health. This is that upper echelon, if you will, of the smile. Then it comes down a little bit. Maybe there's some frowns and smiles along the way. Then it shoots back up at the end of life. And so what I just alluded to is the way expenses work throughout retirement. The retirement smile, you spend more right when you retire, and you should, because you want to get the most out of it. Then you tend to spend less. So for people who are like, oh, am I marrying $7,000 a month? No, you're not. But the latter years of retirement, maybe there's more expenses. So it's not linear. It's more of, hey, this smile analogy. It's not perfect, but I think you get the point there. A few other things here. Stephanie, spend time with loved ones. Love that. Shanta, not being a slave to the clock or calendar. Freedom to do what I want when I want. Love that. Travel, all caps. Stacy, more time with family and friends. Tim, travel. Jay, getting out of a woke corporate culture, focusing on volunteering and owning my own schedule. Love that, Jay. Wanda, vacationing during a busy season. I'm already on a mailing list for this, but somewhere I didn't get this download. So Wanda, glad that you got this download. Yes, for people who are like, Ari, I don't have this ebook, but I'm on your mailing list, just shoot me a note, put it in the comments and just say, hey, add this email. And if you don't want to do it publicly, that makes a ton of sense to me. Just shoot me an email directly, ari@rootfinancialpartners.com. We'll have the team make sure that you're getting everything you want. Wendy, not having debt in traveling, a huge peace of mind. People are often thinking through, okay, should I pay down my mortgage? Should I invest? What's the best thing to do? Well, I tell people you don't often have a party when your investment portfolio goes up $200,000. However, you do say, oh my gosh, I'm sleeping better knowing I no longer have a mortgage. So yeah, what's the financial decision? And then what's the life decision? This was I shared about 30 responses today of just, hey, here are things that people are excited about and excited to never do again. So both of those two. There's about 1,000 other people that downloaded the ebook. So if you are one of those going, hey, I didn't see my response there, I'm not trying to not show your response. I was just picking some that I thought would be relevant. I've had a few people email me like, hey, that didn't get included. So want you to know, no hard feelings with any of that. I'm just trying to help where I think I can help the most. So hope that is indeed helpful. That's it for today's video. Please share this with someone you want to travel with in retirement. I love what I get to do. And if you're looking for a custom strategy, this is of course what I do. And what you can do is you can reach out to our team. I cannot guarantee I would be the one working with you, depending on the responses of how you fill out what we call our just like application, if you will. You'll see that in the description as well. What I will do, and I'm telling people this more and more, if I think I can add value to your situation, wonderful, happy to help. There are other amazing advisors here at Root that do specialize in different things. So depending on where you're at in stage of life, I might say, hey, I'm best for you. I might say, hey, I think another advisor is best. So once again, thank you for listening to this video, watching this video. I do a lot of podcasts, so I'm just kind of used to saying listening. So hope this resonated with you and gave you some more ideas and things to think about. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you don't know, I am the host of the Early Retirement Podcast, and this is what I love doing. I help people create a custom strategy to retire early. You can always reach out to me or a member of our team here at Root, and we would be happy to walk you through our planning process to show you how we can help you get more life out of your money.